Welcome back to the show, everybody, and have we got a good one for you today. A new bill introduced to the U.S. Congress, the Gold Standard Restoration Act, and it's about repegging the Federal Reserve note to gold. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. Right now, we're looking at $983 billion market cap for crypto. Remember, 3+ trillion is the highest all-time high for crypto market. Download that Coin Paprika app. Bitcoin 19,400 plus, Ethereum 1,300 plus, XRP 53 cents right now, up 3.84% on the 24-hour and 19.72 on the 7-day and 20.0.2 just moments ago. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Equity markets slip even lower as cryptocurrencies inch higher, and I don't mind saying XRP leading the race on that talk. And if you're not aware, you can also check out Glint, baby. Gold, it's God's money. Yeah, I love my sponsor and I love being a customer. It is a volatile world right now and may stay that way for some time. But with Glint, your gold is as safe as houses. How about that? And I tell you, check out the link underneath the video for that. Once you start using a Glint gold card with your physically allocated gold on it, you will not stop, because I can guarantee you that. Take a look at this right here. Shout out to Mika for sharing this one. This is a XRP Fudster specialist right here. I want you to listen to what he says here. Just listen.
XRP. You know I hate XRP. Why is that? Because it's a scam money. It's going to take away your wealth. Yes, it's pumping. Yes, I agree. It's pumping right now. I can see that. But this is going to do well because people don't understand it's a centralized system. XRP.
Oh boy. Okay, so we know the XRP ledger is decentralized. We also know that this gentleman here is not that bright. I tell you what, though. I'll make a deal with you here. Why don't we shut the retail trading down on Bitcoin and shut all the retail trading down on XRP, and then let's see who's got the better use case. How about that, big fella? Get back to me on that one. Former Goldman Sachs executive Raoul Pal believes XRP lawsuit will be resolved positively. Well, I hope so too, for sure. Many different outcomes we could see from that, but I'll go and give you what he got here. And what he says basically here is a couple days ago, during an Ask Me Anything session streamed on Real Vision Finance, he says here, I'm long a bit on XRP. I think it's like a special situation, and I think the court case gets resolved positively, and it goes up. It's actually a very used protocol. Somebody might want to tell the gentleman in the video we just watched about that. By using Metcalfe's law, it's pretty decent, he says. The only thing, Americans can't invest in it because it got taken off the exchanges. Well, you can still get it through Uphold, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a lot going on very good at Uphold, including staking and no withdrawal fees and deposit fees and the rest of it. So click the link for Uphold underneath of this video if you're interested in that. Shout out to my sponsor, Uphold. This is Steve and Chip and Jeff right here from On the Chain, and they're talking to John Deaton. Shout out to all three of them. Listen to this quick clip about what John Deaton thought the outcome of the case would be here, talking to the fellas. Listen to this.
And you guys were right and I was wrong. And
wait a minute, sorry, say that again.
What?
Hey, I can admit, dude, I'm wrong sometimes, right? So you guys were right and I was wrong and I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. If you recall, the last time I was on your show, I said that, listen, we haven't seen the SEC brief yet. We haven't seen all the evidence yet. And I actually predicted that the SEC would have a couple gems against Ripple. And I said it may be a couple bad days of publicity for Ripple. I don't know if you remember me saying that. I said, yeah. We haven't seen all the evidence, and there's got to be more that I'm missing. Now, that was an assumption I was making, like, this can't be it. And then I read the summary judgment, and I said, holy shit, there's nothing there. Like, there's no more egregious conduct behind the scenes. There was, it was, well, here's an email. Of course, no XRP holder would be privy to this stuff. Here's an email where Chris Larson said, I love it, because an employee said, hey, XRP holders like something, right? Or this or that. Well, none of that stuff is out there. All that complaint says, guys, is that Ripple promoted the shit out of Ripple. And Ripple promoted XRP. That's it.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where we are in this moment going forward. And I want you to think about that and keep that in your mind as we move through the rest of this information today. So check this out. Ripple has managed to continue its hiring spree with a slew of new job openings despite the bear market, and I don't mind adding, and despite the SEC case in the United States. Remember, 95% of the customers to Ripple are outside of the United States. Brad Garlinghouse himself said, we are already acting as if we've lost the case. If the U.S. doesn't want to get this right, now I'm on my own comment here, but if the U.S. doesn't want to get this right, they'll be the ones. It'll be to their detriment, isn't it? That's essentially what I get from what Brad had said, right? Is that they're moving forward with the rest of the world, and doesn't that create a pressure incentive to where the U.S., and no matter who's looking at it, has to say to herself, well, 95% of the rest of the world doesn't have a problem with it. And I think at some point the U.S. isn't either. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a U.S. congressman introduces gold standard bill, and it's referred to as the Gold Standard Restoration Act. Oh, yes, it's very real. You seeing this? Referred to as the Gold Standard Restoration Act, sound money activists, HR 9157 calls for the repegging of the Federal Reserve note to gold in order to address the ongoing problems of inflation, runaway federal debt, and monetary system instability. Upon passage, H.R. 9157, U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve would have 30 months to publicly disclose all gold holdings, gold transactions, after which time the Federal Reserve note dollar would be pegged to a fixed weight of gold at its then market price. Federal Reserve notes would become fully redeemable for an exchangeable with gold at the new fixed price, with the U.S. Treasury and its gold reserves backstopping the Federal Reserve banks as guarantor. The gold standard would protect against Washington's irresponsible spending habits and the creation of money out of thin air, said Representative Mooney in a statement. Prices would be shaped by economics rather than the instincts of bureaucrats. Well said. No longer would our world economy be at the mercy of the Federal Reserve reckless Washington spenders. The Gold Standard Restoration Act also makes several findings as to the harm the Federal Reserve System has inflicted on everyday Americans, let alone the rest of the world, particularly since President Richard Nixon temporarily suspended gold backing of America's monetary system in 1971. H.R. 9157 points out the following. The Federal Reserve note has lost more than 30% of its purchasing power since 2000 and 97% of its purchasing power since the passage of the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. Economists have observed the elimination of gold redeemability from the monetary system freed central bankers, federal government officials from accountability when they irresponsibly expand the money supply, fund government deficits through trillion-dollar bonds purchases, or otherwise manipulate the economy, which is exactly what it does. At times, including 2021-2022, Federal Reserve actions help create inflation rates of 8% or higher, increasing the cost of living for many Americans to untenable levels enriching the owners of financial assets while endangering the jobs, wages, and savings of blue-collar workers. Notably, Representative Mooney bill would also require full disclosure of all central bank U.S. government gold holdings and gold-related financial transactions over the last 6 decades, a seemingly taboo subject surrounded by mystery and deception, to enable the market participants to arrive at a fixed Federal Reserve note dollar gold parity in an orderly fashion. The Treasury Secretary and the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve shall each make publicly available all holdings of gold with the report of any purchases, sales, leases, and any other financial transactions involving gold. Since the temporary suspension in August 15, 1971 of the gold redeemability obligations under the Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944, I remind everyone right now, there is a call for a new Bretton Woods, a Bretton Woods 2.0. I've been telling you for a while now about the idea and understanding that we may see another Plaza Accord. Plaza Accord 2.0. 1985, Plaza Accord is when they devalued the U.S. dollar against other major currencies of the world. It can happen again, ladies and gentlemen. Furthermore, H.R. 9157 requires the Fed and Treasury to disclose all records pertaining to the redemptions and transfers of the United States gold in the past 10 years preceding the temporary suspension, not in the past 10 years, but in the 10 years preceding the temporary suspension of August 15, 1971. Tongue-tied here a little bit. Today's debt-based fiat monetary system serves primarily to support big government and wealthy financial insiders, while the Federal Reserve's serial policy of currency debasement punishes savers and wage earners as it undermines the economy. That is so well said. It is so accurate. A return to gold redeemability would arrest the problem of inflation, restrain the growth of wasteful and inefficient government, and kick off an exciting new era of American prosperity. I think that is excellent and well said, but then it causes me to speculate. Could we see, and by the way, here is the filing, ladies and gentlemen, from Congress.gov, to define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold and for other purposes. Now, I look for the text. It's not been posted yet for the whole bill. We will get it when we have it. But what it made me think of is this. Remember Judy Shelton, gold-backed system? Remember when we entertained the idea that because she had mentioned it could be done in a cryptocurrency sort of way? Very interesting to me that now a representative in Congress has really put forth and introduced a bill to do exactly that. Now, I think when you think about the idea of a cryptocurrency sort of way, look, there's a benefit of putting the fiat money backed by gold again, right? It's accountability, and it turns off the printing press. It's necessary. We all know it. But if you can get the world to move to a gold-backed fiat money again, I believe just the announcement of that is going to drive the price of gold sky high, because you talk about another serious use case and store of value and what it'll represent. Then figure out how we're going to move it around the world. Well, I tell you what, Glint's already figured out how to do it for its customers like myself. But why not use something like XRP and put all the gold-backed fiat dollars, CBDCs, stable coins, on the back of XRP where applicable, and use them in transactions and settlement where applicable? Because not only do you get the fiat dollars back on a gold system, but you also get the benefit of a new money introduced to the world as a bridge currency to go along with backing up and shoring the old. Am I speculating? You better believe I am. This isn't financial advice. It's my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.